But I look around and I look at a lot of the other directors I respect, and they spend their whole careers trying to get final cut on their projects and full creative control, and after many, many, many years, they get to that point. For us, we're able to self-finance, we own our IP, we have full creative control in everything that we do, we have a distribution method already, we have ways to distribute, we have pretty much everything we need. So when a deal comes down the line that says, hey, we're going to take away some of the things that you guys have, it's like, why are we taking this? Is there a reason? Is there really that good of a reason? Because we get to do what we want to do and we own it. And there's really, we see everyone running towards us and we're like, well, we already have what everyone wants. So creatively, it's much more fulfilling. To be able to own it, to be able to have full control over it is much more fulfilling. So that's a lot of the reason why we do what we do.
Equity over cash is the path to sort of independence and wealth. And so there's a whole generation that sort of, they reach a level of creative success or accolade, and then a studio or a network exec or somebody will come to them and put a check in front of them and say, hey, come and do that for us. And it's probably the biggest check that a lot of those creators have seen or would see in the next couple of years. And it's really hard in that moment to turn that down. And guys like Freddie and a handful of others in this business have started to realize that the long term and the way to liberate myself from forever being work for hire and at the mercy of others' creative control or asking other people for a job or having to pitch is to build the entirety of the infrastructure myself.
Anthony Zeiger, who created CSI.
Yeah.
Get that one wrong, but his whole concept was, I really want to have a relationship with the consumer. I want to own my own IP. I don't want to do work for hire anymore. And that's how you create real wealth and real control over your creative future. And then Brian Robbins is a great example. So Brian launched Awesomeness TV, same concept. I mean, I don't know. I mean, you guys tell me, you don't get much higher than a showrunner in this industry in terms of your stature. And control. And he opted to go steer away from that because he recognized that he'd have even greater opportunities with digital distribution on YouTube specifically.
And upside.
We sort of still serve as the connective tissue between sort of aspirants to be professional screenwriters and those people who hire professional screenwriters or buy their work. But I think certainly anyone can do it. But I think there's always the sort of balancing act between what am I giving up and what am I getting for it. So if you're just starting out and you don't necessarily want to have to focus on building the business around your creative content, you may choose to take that check for a little while. Until you're at the stage that Anthony or Brian were at in their careers, where they could say, you know what, even if this doesn't work out, I'm going to be okay. And then I can always go back and be a showrunner if I want to. Or you can say, you know what, I'm in this for the long haul. I want to own my own IP throughout the process, and I'm going to, build a business in addition to creating creative content.
If you're under 35 and you're a studio executive, I would say you better start moving.
No, but I think that's exactly the right point. I mean, and I say this as someone who was a studio executive in their early 30s and left to do something else that had upside. But I think that this is one of the big problems at the studios right now is that it's almost a classic sort of economic middle manager's problem, is the people who have the ability to make the change have no individual incentive to be the ones making the change, and the cost of failure in any of those minor decisions is catastrophic for them, and the potential upside for being right is actually pretty minimal. And
run to the back of the boat.
Right. Okay. No, but I mean, they're running to the back of the boat, and I think it's a really difficult question, though, and I think it's a fascinating time to be, between the ages of 25 and 35 in this business, because are there still seats available at the studios? Can you still go get that job, have the prestige of your peers, go sit on set and sort of work on these big movies, and 10, 15 years from now, when the music does stop, what are you going to do? Or do you sort of, head out on your own? Do you become an entrepreneur? Do you sort of head out into the wild, wild west where the rules aren't exactly clear yet and figure it out on your own? I mean, look, my choice is clear. I chose the latter. But it's, again, not entirely a rational decision to say, you know what, I'm going to stay on this boat as long as I can and hope that the rescue ships arrive. They probably aren't going to. I think we can all acknowledge that. Like, the winter is coming. But, like...
Strong.
But it's... But no, I mean, but these are the issues that I think everyone in the industry is facing, and I think, we represent one very clear choice about how to handle, the coming winter.